live, guys.
We are back in the flesh.
Like we told you. Like
Antonio,
we promised.
That game over there, 4-0, Napoli. Since we left, we said that the game was going to be over. Napoli put another 2 in. As Ludovico said, guided by Maradona. 90th minute in that match. So let's get the full focus over here, Antonio.
Well, listen, this is not about Napoli. Today is about Maradona. I mean, it happened. Napoli happened.
Game is over.
Game is over. So I'm happy. I'm happy for the whole city of Naples, and I'm happy for all the fans of Naples, and 90% of the, they did what they were required to do. Even though a lot of us they give Napoli, they put Napoli down for the final score, except for the supreme chief over here that is still absent. But this is a tribute to Maradona again, and we happy that the final result was on Napoli side for this time. I mean, Gattuso the week before when AC Milan cracked him down to 3-1, he was very unhappy, and on the locker room he came down very, very angry against his own. Even though he took the blame for the loss, but he didn't like the attitude and the intensity that his player they showed on the field. So today we saw different Napoli, and I think they deserve the win. I mean, hey, Maradona or no Maradona, the Napoli, they left it on the field, and they, the 4-0 is probably a little bit too excessive, but the win, it's
deserved.
Well deserved.
Let's shift the conversation right now, because let me give a perspective for everybody over here. We've got my dad, who should be arriving soon, who will sit over here. Once he comes on, we'll get his thoughts. We had to start this podcast because Antonio is leaving very soon. He's got about 20 minutes with us. So having said that, I want to shift the conversation first to speak about the first place team, and they are first. So of course we got to speak about them first, and you're first in the table and first on the podcast table. So
First, guys, look.
So first of all, we actually have a donation from our first commenter. He's the first person to donate.
And he's an AC Milan fan, I hope.
Yeah, he's the first AC Milan fan. He's the first person.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the first AC Milan fan, actually. It's crazy. Carlo Fassi. He said 29 consecutive Serie A games where AC Milan scores. It ties a 1972/73 club record. Plus, this is AC Milan's best start to a season since 1995. 12 more goals and 13 more points than this time last season after 9 games. The title of this video is AC Milan is better than Juventus and Inter. Antonio,
I disagree with that. AC Milan is not just better. AC Milan is much, much better.
Should we fix the title?
Yeah, fix the title.
AC Milan is much, much better.
Much better.
Much.
I'll tell
If you agree, make sure you like
the
the
game
video
against
right
Roma. There were 2 points that were taken away from us because of the penalty situation that we had. Even though we had one on our side and one against us, and the game against Verona was another game that AC Milan dominated, but they came up short with the final result. So if we took those 4 points, we will be 9 out of 9 wins. As we speak today on Serie A, and it will not be a big stretch to if AC Milan had 27 points today. But to make a long story short, AC Milan deserves to be on the first place. I mean, you guys were very skeptical from the very beginning. We took up the slack that from last season. The end of the COVID. They said, AC Milan, we will see what they're gonna do because everything was associated with the COVID. This year, everybody's been under the same kind of a stress, and coming down with some players having the COVID, some of the coaching having the COVID. Bonera has been the coach of AC Milan for the last couple of weeks, but it's not about Bonera or about Pioli or about Maldini or about anybody. This is an AC Milan team that has got a lot of speed, grit, and talent, and they're young. Okay, so they're not ready to lay down to just allow Juventus and Inter to catch up and to have a good time on their behalf. So we are here to enjoy the games as we and then Ibra or no Ibra, we're gonna get it. Mark my words, because Ibrahimovic is a big motivator. And today I was watching Ibrahimovic sitting on the bench, and he was still mouthing some words to some of those guys. So it's just physical presence. It's just as conducive as when he's actually inside of the field, and he's actually interacting with those guys. So being there physically, it means a lot for all the young guys on AC Milan. So and motivation, it's it's within the locker room, it's on practice, and even when you're sitting on the bench. So again, credit to Ibrahimovic for being on the bench even today when it's not in shape to play. So I don't know what else to say. We're number one, and we're here to stay, guys. I love this situation because this is a dream. This is a dream come true. See,
He thought I was going to cover his mouth or something.
Yeah, my backstabbers over here, this AC Milan closet, they do anything that they're going to do. So,
Did you notice that he's wearing red right now
actually,
because
it's
they're
like-
winning?
it's like a body stuff. There should be
Body
some
stuff.
black. So
Let's
Bianca Rossi,
since you
right?
said you don't know where to go with this, Ibra dependency has been a big talking point amongst. I should save that for when my dad gets here.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about
Spark
Ibra
a
dependency.
little-
I want to
Yeah.
spark
Yeah,
the problem.
go around. Go around.
So we've got a few donations that I would like to roll through right now. Ben, he said, firstly, Antonio, you are a legend. Question for Antonio: given that AC Milan has the youngest squad in Europe right now with huge potential, where do you see Milan in 5 years? Can we win any silverware?
Oh, forget about 5 years. We're talking about
That's
this year.
Ben.
Wow. We're not
jeez.
going to wait 5 years. We're not waiting. We're going to win this year and we're going to win next year. The next 2-3 years is going to be AC Milan.
Let's get one more.
The next 2-3 years AC Milan. I'm telling you, mark my words, with players that nobody knows them still right now. We're going to fish them out, some from the youths and some from teams that they aren't, they're not on the top. But we have scouting that is some of the best. Maldini is one of them. And we have not you. I mean, Maldini is one of the. This is the guy. This is the guy that really he took a lot of shit
I
on
dug
Maldini.
myself a hole.
Yeah. So anyway, Maldini is one of them, and I think he's been scouting already 2-3 defenders that we're gonna bring in by January.
Okay.
And that's it. Maybe we need a little more reinforcement on the forward line with Ibrahimovic sitting down from time to time. But we're not scared about that.
And how many years till Champions League would you say?
Maybe next year. We have somebody over here, Ryan, who says, "Oh, he's choking." My friend Ryan over here is a Man U fan, and he just wishes that Man U had as many championships as AC Milan. But nevertheless, hey, it's good to have a dream. So you know what I'm going to do, Ryan? I'm going to send you a link so you can just look at all the 7 Champions League that AC Milan won.
I'll send it to
And
you.
the fashion, the way they won the Champions League, it was a massacre.
A beautiful brand of football.
Huh?
A beautiful brand of football.
Yeah, beautiful brand.
I would like to shift the conversation a little bit. We do have donations coming in, and we do. I want to speak about Inter, who beat Sassuolo. But before we do, we also have Patreon names that we're gonna have to read out. So stay tuned for that. We launched a Patreon where there's gonna be Antonio Rants will be filmed tomorrow. You get Antonio Rants. You get a second podcast with Ludovico, which we should be filming tomorrow, and you get our weekly Serie A prediction. The Patreon has been booming. Everybody's been loving signing up for it, so we appreciate all the support. There's also a 30-minute monthly FaceTime call, Zoom call.
What is
that
a
we're gonna be
Patreon,
doing.
by the way? It's like
It's a new
YouTube?
platform that you can provide extra support for creators where we're putting new content on the platform.
Exclusive.
So it's
Okay.
patreon.com/IFTV. Also, if you want additional ways to support, we have new merchandise that is on our site right now, ItalianFootballTV.com, and we're bringing back with a new remastered logo, a new updated logo of the Calcio box tee, which is Antonio's favorite. There's also a nice sweatshirt, best quality we've ever done. Our regular stuff has been good. This is a notch above. For our Canadians that need the heavier material,
Right.
we got them. So you're going to be warm this
40
winter.
class of this material.
So ItalianFootballTV.com for your merch. Let's move on to Inter. Let's talk about Inter right now. 3-0 win against Sassuolo, who did not lose in the Serie A so far. Absolute dominating performance. Sassuolo were without Ciccio Caputo, but definitely taking nothing away. Gagliardini scored against them, so you know that they had a bad game. Peter, thoughts? Great bounce back for Inter.
Yeah, well, the response is very important for this team. In the fashion that they lost to Real Madrid, coming off a big week, I wanted to see the response. I in our chat or whatever that we put our results. I thought Inter was going to tie this game. I really thought that Inter mentally weren't strong enough, but I was proved wrong. I saw an Inter team that you mentioned, the goals weren't that great. No, but you know what? Inter being able to grind out those goals is something that we needed to see. It doesn't matter how you score. Doesn't matter how beautiful it was. The important thing is that you score and you finish a game off. And that was so important to be able to get the 2 goals and then control the match. Something that Inter hasn't been able to do in a long time, considering all the games that we played
hear-
this year. It's
Yeah.
I
pretty
hear
much
my dad screaming from the back, by the way.
Oh boy.
You guys don't hear?
Did he score a goal?
I think
heard
he's very
something
happy
too.
that he's the only one who got Napoli winning.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
I think
too.
that's what it is.
I'm happy
Anyway,
Napoli
let's
won.
continue.
That-
Yeah, here we go. We're hearing him walk in.
Maestro Il Gaetano.
Uh-oh.
There he is.
Am I in first place?
I don't know
see.
about that.
Let's go
We
to
will
games
see.
tomorrow.
I'm gonna count. I gotta check.
Yeah, Michael, don't let Michael count.
Don't check.
Are you guys live?
Yeah, we're live.
Yeah, we're live.
Yeah.
So
Sit down.
Sit down.
Sit
So
down.
that we know, I'm the only one that believed in Napoli.
It's true.
All these guys, they're Roma winning, right?
That's very true. He's the only one who predicted Napoli to win. I really wanted to, but I thought Roma was flying high. Let's finish off what you were saying about Inter.
No, so the response was important. I think I still was upset with the Gagliardini move in the midfield, but we saw Barella move into that center role, and Gagliardini and Vidal working off as the two mediani, right? But the same time, going back to my point, we were able to win this game. We were able to shut down Sassuolo, and I wanted to make a point that Inter, defensively have looked very poor and we've gotten a lot of goals taken against. But like I've been mentioning in the past, when you have the three defenders of Bastoni, De Vrij, Skriniar, Inter have allowed only 2 goals in Serie A.
So why
This
doesn't he
season.
use it all the time?
Well, the problem was with COVID, with injuries.
What COVID? That's
Skriniar
BS.
was out, and we didn't have the players to play. So that's a very important part of this Conte team. But at the same time, we got rid of Godin to get who? To get Kolarov as one of the center backs. I don't know if that was the best of moves. We looked maybe because Godin wanted to start. Godin, Inter then maybe didn't want to pay a high salary, and that was the reason why they pushed him out. But
How much was Godin making, by the way?
he was making a good amount. I think around 6 million.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
I think so. Yeah, because they got him on a free transfer and they were able to, pay more for his
So you're
salary.
telling me that now Cagliari is paying 6 million for Godin?
No.
I don't think
No,
so.
no, they're not. They're not. They've
Probably
worked
2,
out a deal,
3.
but it was just a way to get him off, maybe a little bit off the books. But that being said, defensively, Inter showed what they're capable of. I think it wasn't the spectacular performance, but it was the clinical performance that Inter needed to put forth, score the goals, keep a clean sheet, which is so important, and being right there again. You're in second place with 18 points. Milan, all the credit to them. They're at 23 points right
Say
now.
it again, Peter, I didn't hear
Milan,
that.
all the
Oh, I
credit.
love
They're in
that.
first
Oh,
place,
boy.
23 points, 5 points. And you have Inter, Napoli, Sassuolo at 18, Juventus, Roma at 17. So everyone is right there. So Milan really got to keep their foot on the metal, as they would say, right?
All right.
Jas says Gaetano and Mike are now both wearing red. They're both slowly becoming AC Milan fans.
Wait, I was always a Milan fan. I don't know
Yeah,
about
the
Gaetano.
The closet fan.
Gaetano's a sportivo like
Alright,
me,
so-
aka Flipper.
Are we talking about Inter or Milan?
We already passed Milan.
You passed Milan.
We already did Milan.
Because he's got to run this.
He's
Yeah.
got to leave soon,
Because
so we
we
started
are,
with
hey,
Milan.
we are
But I have a
Ibrahimovic.
question about...
We are Ibrahimovic dependent, by the way. Hey, let me for your own record, Ibrahimovic didn't play today. You know that, right? You do know, bro. Right?
So you guys,
You could answer his question.
Go ahead. Answer the question first, and then you say you guys. Then answer the question. Are we the
What's your question?
Ibrahimovic dependent?
yeah, you are. But today you got, you
yeah.
played a good game. That's all. You happen to play a good game, and you guys talked about all the records that they broke.
We
that
spoke a
AC Milan broke.
Some of them, but if you have more that we didn't get, you could say them.
So they have 29 games with a goal. They have the best start from 1992 with Capello.
Yeah, we said that one.
And with 3 points, they are at 23 points, which is the best start after 9 games, even with Ancelotti.
Yeah, we said that one.
So the other thing that I was impressed was by Salamaker. And because I don't see them all the time, and Çalhanoğlu, I mean, this guy, I never believed in him. I never believed that he was good enough to wear the number 10 for AC Milan. But today he showed me some skills. And and he played a good game. I started to believe in Çalhanoğlu. One thing about Tonali is not ready for the big for prime time. He's not ready. I don't care what you say. And the other thing that I will go on record on saying is that AC Milan is ready this year to win the Scudetto.
Whoa! Hey, something must happen. Did you get hit by a truck, by the way? Holy cow!
Then I want to make a comment about Inter because you
Oh my
finished
God!
We just started.
We
were
were
talking
just,
about
like in the middle.
Inter. Okay, so what was the thing? What you asked me?
About what? About
You asked me a
Milan?
question.
About Milan?
Are you asking me a
Oh,
question?
this, to expand on your, why do you think that Milan, if in your words that Milan are Ibra dependent, why are they ready this year to win?
Because today they showed that they won without Ibra. Okay, so when Ibra comes back, that's even a plus. They're playing good. They have a young team. I think with a young team, they have the right mentality. They do everything right. So I think that they got 5 points over the second one. I didn't believe them. I must say I didn't believe them at the beginning of the year. I said number 2. But I said number 2 from the beginning of the year, and I put him in the top 4 from the beginning of the even before the season started. I put it in the top 4, and then I made a statement top 2, and today I'm ready to say number 1.
Are they better than Inter and Juventus?
They probably, if you go player by player, they are not. But as a team, they're playing better than Inter, and they're playing better than Juventus.
Wow.
Okay,
Great.
I'm gonna sound like a hater, but I just wanna. Milan's been playing incredible. You can't take anything away from them. But Gaetano, I feel like you and even Anton obviously know more than us. It's still only 9 games left. What was it 27, 28 rounds
But
left?
what do they say? There's a saying: the good start you see from the morning,
Yeah.
something like
Il
that.
buongiorno in Italy, il buongiorno si vede dal mattino.
Right. So
Okay.
the good day you see it in the morning. So it's 9 games. I think the way they're playing.
Only
But
9
this is
games.
my opinion.
I
So,
know. I just
only
want
my
a
opinion.
piece of Gaetano's mind. I just want to see what do you. It's only 9 games.
Okay, it's only 9 games.
So you're still
That's
confident
his
with
opinion.
them.
It's my opinion.
One last thing
yeah,
to
for
move on
AC
for AC Milan. Last
because
thing.
I wanna say something about
Romagnoli
Inter.
scored,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then he did this to the camera.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling that Romagnoli, Peter is the one who brought this up. I think he's watching the podcast and he's heard the things that Antonio has said. Romagnoli, if you've heard, I said that you were always a great player.
Very true.
I
Very
love you,
true.
Romagnoli, Capitano.
And he
Okay.
responds to this.
And in
Romagnoli.
response, I think the response will be that keep watching the podcast because you're getting smarter over there. And the more you watch the podcast, the more you're going to understand that to play with AC for AC Milan, to wear that jersey, you have to step up to the plate and you have to play like the great players that they wore that shirt before you and they were in the position that you are right now on the field. So,
Romagnoli, get back to us, please. Get back to
get back to us, okay? So
What were you going to say
Romagnoli.
about Inter?
All right, about Inter, I have just, it was a good performance after the Champions League. I think they were the only team that won after a Champions League match. And I heard what Conte said. He's still saying, he says, whatever you say about Inter, but we always give us 110%. And again, he said that there's too much negativity around the team. So he keeps repeating those things. I don't know why. But
Well,
one thing about Inter, okay? Real Madrid, I don't think has won any games in the last month. The only games that they won was against Inter. Okay, I think even today or yesterday they lost Avavi, whatever his name is. And so a team like Inter should beat Real Madrid right now. Okay, there's no excuse.
To answer why Conte's saying that, there was a banner outside that said the jersey you're wearing must be honored. Show some balls or we'll show you up with some baseball bats. That's what the Inter Curva said to Inter right before the match.
But this was addressed to Inter or to Conte?
Well, it was just to Inter.
As
to
a
the
whole.
players.
Yeah, as a
Okay.
whole.
I mean, we could assume
Okay.
that it's all of them.
So
involved.
any fan expects that you're gonna, play till your last breath, in the sense that you give your blood, all your sweat, and everything. And that's the very minimum that a team fans can ask for. Then you're gonna lose games, you're gonna win games. That's part of the season. But the most important thing is the approach and how you go after it. I see Conte taking a little bit out of the Mourinho game plan, and this is something that the Inter culture might need. It needs that us versus them, us against the world. So I think he's trying to pit his players maybe to say, listen, everybody wants us to fail. We have to make sure that we keep a solid group and we don't let that stuff come inside the locker room. And we have to make sure that we play to our standards. Now, Champions League is a whole nother thing. We lost that, right? By miracle, we can still go through. But we have to forget about that, and we have to concentrate on what we can do and what is in our power to do. And the season is very long. Inter is right there with the rest of all the other teams. And I said, if we have the right defenders playing, Bastoni, De Vrij, Skriniar, it's a much better Inter team. We're more solid in the back, and I think we can go ahead. But
he's still stubborn about the midfield.
he's still stubborn about the midfield. He keeps that Gagliardini, but he did change. He's
Now that he scored, you're never gonna.
what I
He's
said
always
too.
gonna play.
No,
I
but
said the
it's
same
not
thing.
so much Gagliardini, Vidal, and Barella. Is the way that they're set up in the field.
Yeah.
There's nobody in front of the defense, and there is a hole there
Yeah.
all the time.
Well, this game he did put Barella in the middle instead of the Vidal in the middle, and I think that changed a lot for this game in particular. Then we got to see Brozovic coming back. He would be
But Barella he's got so much energy. That guy goes up and down, up and down. You cannot just put him in front of the defense and stay there. No, the guy, the best of he goes up and down, and he never
And
stops.
in fact, I think it was a poor performance.
Pete, let me ask you something. What
What
would be your expectation now, since all of those beautiful comments about Inter, the win over Sassuolo was very scrappy. I mean, the first goal was garbage. I mean, to me was a Lautaro. Lautaro deserved to be fouled. I mean, that was a foul. That was not. It was overseen. A little rebound here, rebound there. That's like a scrappy win. Nothing to be proud of.
That's what I said. I don't care. I didn't like the goals, but a scrappy win is something that Inter needs. We need to be able to put the ball in the back of the net.
What would that be if you were an Inter fan, which you obviously you are, unfortunately for yourself too. But what will be a season that you can say, oh, we salvaged the season? What would make you
Good
happy?
question.
There is
Now.
no such thing as salvaging the season. Inter now are in the position to play for the Scudetto. That's what you have to do.
Okay.
Like you said, Conte is making the big bucks.
Mhm.
Champions League, it is what it is. Scudetto.
What about
with
the Champions?
With this
The
current
Champions, so you are-
situation
you're
with all
already
these
out.
teams that are not there, you have to go and win that Scudetto.
So you're already out of the Champions,
Most likely.
technically.
Most likely.
Almost. So you were saying the champion. So the Scudetto will be a salvage. Will salvage the
course. If
season.
Inter wins the Scudetto
Coppa
after
Italia
10
will
years.
salvage the season. And what else? Anything else? Maybe the
There's
UEFA.
nothing else.
The UEFA will salvage you the season.
Oh, we have to
too.
get into it.
Oh, you have to get into it first. Okay.
I know, Antonio, you're gonna have to leave probably any minute now because it's just turned 5:00. I want to ask one other thing. Bonera has a 100% win record right now
Hey.
in Serie A. 5 goals scored, 1 conceded. Why is Conte getting paid the big bucks, but Bonera has an even better record?
You ask me.
Yeah, I'm
ask
asking
him. Ask him. And you have to ask all the Inter tifoseria, which is just, I'm telling you, in Italy, you know how many millions people that can live on Conte's salary? A lot.
I would think so.
A lot of people. In Italy, the average salary is
All right.
10,000 euro.
All right, doesn't
for a
matter, it doesn't
family.
matter.
It does
Let's move on,
matter.
let's move on.
For this guy here to get paid 12 million euro, please, and to do a lousy job like that, please.
Let's move on to we have a donation. We have a bunch of donations.
ahead.
I'm going to read them in order afterwards once you leave. But there's one addressed to you. Dan Maldini, he says, "Hello from Denmark, Antonio. Do you agree that Serie A is a more romantic league than the other leagues in Europe, where they have a lot of older players and history on their side?" So basically, he's saying that in the past they've
Right.
had a lot better players
Legends.
and history rather than the other leagues.
Well, listen, it is true because it's not easy to replicate people, players like Maldini, like Ancelotti, like Pirlo, like I don't know, Kaká, Svechenko. But it is what it is right now. This Serie A here right now is starting to rebuild, and is coming up with the new players that they're going to be very worthy of the old Serie A, the romantic Serie A. So just give a couple more years. And I would say that we're going to be right there. 2 more years.
Okay, so you agree.
Yeah.
What I think we could do too, by the way, when you leave, I think we get Ryan to step in. A nice super sub like Cavani.
Yeah.
You know, Cavani came in the second half and he changed the game
Who's
for
Ryan?
Manchester
The guy
United.
that wishes that Manchester United at the AC Milan wins, the number wins?
I don't know, maybe.
I'll be right out. I'll be right out, Nico.
So
Okay.
let's move on.
Ryan, come
and
over
change
here.
topic.
Did I believe in Cavani?
Yeah.
You did. You
I
did say
always
Cavani.
say Cavani.
Guys.
Where you
it's been-
going?
It's
Over
been
there.
nice,
We
it's
gotta
been
leave.
nice to see you.
Where you going?
I have to go to take my son to the Port Authority. He's got a train to go to Boston. But I said what I had to say.
There's a Uber.
Oh, come on, Daddy. Pay the Uber. Come on.
What's wrong with you? No, don't go, Anto. Don't go.
He misses you.
Yeah.
He misses you.
Paisa.
We have a boxing match set up between.
Oh,
him
yeah,
and
we didn't even talk
a
about it.
boxing match.
Okay, well,
I'll be able to get back with.
don't forget your jacket right up behind you. Behind you.
Gaetano, by the way, I said I put my money on you
Arbitro.
over him for
Ryan,
the boxing match.
sub.
So don't worry.
Sub. Super sub.
Remove something before.
Toss it.
We don't have a Man United one.
I know. I wish. That's a real team.
Ryan.
So guys, Ryan's
Thank you
been
for
on
coming on.
Ryan, did you do your proper warm-up?
Live streams.
I'm good.
We don't want you to pull anything.
So we're gonna keep talking, keep going on, and then we'll ask Ryan about Man U and a little bit what he thinks about Serie A. We got to talk about Juventus, who had a horrible draw, 1-1 to Benevento. I had crazy high expectations for this match. I had a 3-0 win for Juventus. I thought Juventus were gonna come out poor performance in Champions League. Yes, they qualified against Ferenburi, but they did not come out and. That's the official team name.
Baruch.
Oh,
I gotta respect
nah, I
my
think
boy
that's-
Norbert.
And I thought they were going to come out with some kind of reaction. Ronaldo was not called up for the match. Pirlo said that he needed to rest. Again, 0 from Dybala in the starting 11 from Juventus. Morata continues to do what Morata does. De Ligt, I thought, did a really good match. But again, still that lack of intensity, lack of hunger, lack of real will behind the team. And Pirlo after the match was very disappointed in his team. I'll read his words because I thought they were pretty significant. He said, "We have few players with personality and a lot of youngsters that need to grow quickly. When players with experience and personality are missing, it makes it hard to win, as we saw against Benevento. I'm not worried, but things just need to change, and we need a different mentality immediately." What was your reaction?
Let the other.
Listen,
Mike,
I said I don't buy it. I mean, if Antonio wants to stand here and complain about Conte's excuses, Pirlo pretty much has the same excuse because that Juventus team, any day of the week, is better than Benevento team. That Juventus team, you have guys like Dybala, you have guys, Morata, De Ligt. You have some quality players there. Cuadrado. These guys have won in the past, so there's no real excuse to say, "Oh, we don't have the personality." There's not that many new players from the, it's the same team as from last year, maybe a couple of different players. But that being said, I think Pirlo made a mistake in not calling up Ronaldo, especially when we see this team that has struggled. I think if you want to give him the rest, it's fine, but you got to keep him on the bench. If there's no reason to keep him out, why is he staying out? Keep him on the bench, and when you need him, you need to get those points. He can come in, even if it's 20 minutes, he can change the game and score. We see that time in and time out already. Like you said, where Spezia, he was able to do it. Also, Pirlo's, defensively, he's forced to keep Danilo as a center-back position, so it's not your best defense. But I think it was more of a problem of going forward, that Juventus really lacked that spark. They weren't able to change speeds. They weren't able to really take it to Benevento. They were kind of just cautiously moving the ball around. And Pirlo can cautiously, Pirlo the player, can cautiously move around because he can give the killer pass. And I feel like Juventus right now are playing with 11 Pirlos, but the only thing is he's without a head. He's just a moving kind of thing. And the Pirlo movement of slow and keeping possession and stuff. So... yeah, Juventus, needs a lot of work. I think Pirlo is trying too hard to experiment with stuff. Get this team simplified. Get this team to win, even if you're winning 1-0, and build on top and build. And he's not doing that.
Yeah, Peter, I agree with you. We talked about it too. If you guys caught us on the live stream, I'm a little disappointed with Pirlo. Especially, I felt like he would have learned his lesson with the Crotone match. I feel like he's underestimating the smaller teams that just came to Serie A. So he maybe thought he can get the job done. But we've talked about it numerous times. Every team in Serie A is really fighting, especially this season, and they're all very good. But this game, I feel like if Dybala put that shot that he had in the back of the net when he was in front of the goalie, we could have been talking about, whatever, Juve scrapped through another one. So it would have just been another game, even though they didn't really perform. They didn't have any real attacking chances. And Benevento, played it smart, wasting a lot of time, defended. But I wanted to ask you guys, I want to pass along the question with Dybala too. What do you think Dybala, he's been playing now, he's been getting consistent minutes. What does Dybala need so we could see the Dybala of the past few years that we've been seeing?
I think that the problem with Dybala is he's not performing.
Yeah.
I think that he's going through a little bit like what happened with De Ligt at the start of last season, where he wasn't having good matches. He struggled. He had COVID. He had injury problems. He was not finding consistency. He's constantly been moving into different formations of different players, and that's not an excuse. I think that Dybala's problem is that Dybala is a type of player that he has games where he's an 8, he's a 9 in terms of ranking out of 10. He has games that he's unbelievable, and you say this is the moment. But then he will have games that are 2s and 3s. He doesn't have that balance of consistently being a 7, 7, 8, 7, 8. He goes from these very highs of incredible matches where we start calling him world class, but then we'll have 3s and 4s and not that character that I think Juventus need. But at the same time, I think that the conversation is a little bit overblown. He's considered world-class by some and not by others, and I don't think that he's at that world-class level. He's struggling, but I think everybody will be proven wrong because Dybala is going to perform.
Do you think that the terminology that you're using and everybody else is using is causing pressure for him, and that's why he's not performing? He's not being consistent because he's being classified as world-class, but
maybe
it's causing him to go downhill.
It could be. It could be that he even feels Ronaldo not there, and he's got to be the one that steps up. He wears the 10. I don't think so, but it could be possible.
I think it's also because right now he's having some issues with his contract. I think there's things that he's thinking about outside the field. He's not getting the playing time that he necessarily wants. And I think the biggest problem is he part of the Juventus project? And maybe he doesn't feel the full... Juventus really wanting Dybala. Dybala is that guy that's going to be the starter no matter what. And I think right now Pirlo doesn't see him as a starter. He sees him as a reserve to the Morata-Ronaldo link up. And I think he might need a change of scenery. He might need something to get his mind or just to be able to, let's say, okay, I want a new project, something new. Unless Juventus says and comes out and says, here's the contract that you're looking for. And you are going to be our, Del Piero or, one of the top players for years to come.
Not necessarily on Dybala, but what are your thoughts?
No,
it could be on Juventus or Dybala.
I was going back to him because he said that was the same team as last year. But I would like to point out that today there were, or yesterday there were like 6 new players in that team. I had it in front of me, and now it disappeared. But let's say Fabrotta, Chiesa, Kulusevski, Morata.
That's
Who
really
else? Artur, that's 5. And probably we can put there Ramsey because Ramsey didn't play last year. So there's about six players that they were not there. So, but anyway, that's not an excuse. You brought it up. I just wanted to bring it up. But to me, Juventus, you go play against Benevento. I mean, are you kidding me? You gotta win this game. There's no excuses. I don't want to hear Pirlo saying, oh, I have a few players with personality. Are you out of your mind? I mean, you got all the players. You go play for Juventus. There's a certain standard that when you go play for Juventus, you go there to win. And you go play, and they get players that are there to win and they're ready to win. So this thing that they have no personality, I don't buy. There's a lot of young players, okay, that they got to grow, but they have played a very high. Even the young players like the elite, he's been playing now for a few years in a Champions League, so that's not an excuse. As far as Ronaldo is concerned, I don't understand why they left him home. Okay, I understand you have to win this game against Benevento, but you were supposed to win against Crotone too. If I'm not mistaken, Crotone was a 1-1 game. Okay, so you didn't win against Crotone. So, hello, You bring Ronaldo with you. The guy makes $30 million. You bring him with you. You don't have to start him. Play him the last 20 minutes. The guy goes in. He's going to have a couple of shots on goal. He's going to do something. And he always does. So I didn't believe. I didn't like that move either. As far as what else? You want to talk about there might have been a penalty on Lapadula?
On delete.
Yeah, but no, I don't think that was a.
There probably was, but either way, I don't like to get held up on that.
No, that was. I don't think that if anybody had any doubt, that was not a penalty. And the other thing that I would like to say is about Morata. Come on, the game is over. What the hell you get a red card for?
Yeah.
I mean, you walk away, or you either go to the referee and you ask for an explanation. But you must have said something to get a red card that quickly. He must have used the wrong word, and the game is over. So stupid on the part of Morata to get a red card.
And he's out for the derby too.
One last thing that I want to say about, I think that Pirlo just continues to try to reinvent the wheel, and I mean do way too much. I think this team is built for a 4-man back line. It's built for a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1. I think that's what Juventus needs to play. Enough with the 3-5-2, 3-4-1-2. I don't like it at all. As long as you play that back the way that it's supposed to be, the front three could be anybody.
So back four, you're saying?
Absolutely back three. I just don't like the changes, and every week it's a different Juventus. Let's move on. What are the talking points that we got this week?
Napoli, Roma.
Yeah.
You want me to start?
Yeah.
Okay. Obviously, Antonio said there's a tribute to Maradona. I think it was very fitting that the first goal that Napoli had was from a Napoli child himself, Insigne.
And from a number 10.
From a number 10, from a free kick.
As
technical
Ludovico
gesture.
said, guided by Maradona.
Guided by
Ball
Maradona.
was guided by Maradona.
So it's a fitting tribute to see Napoli win. And win in an impressive, manner. I mean, Roma was probably the hottest team right now. Milan being number 1, Roma maybe 2. And Napoli were able to dismantle this Roma team. Roma's defense without Mancini, without Smalling. So looking a little thin in the back, but Napoli made them pay in the end. So Napoli had a lot of motivation. I think the motivation was able to supersede Roma, and Roma didn't come out that good. I think Pedro, Mkhitaryan, even Dzeko, very, very, under the weather, it seemed. Like these guys weren't able to move the way that we're used to. That being said, we were all wrong, as Gaetano mentioned. I thought that Roma was going to win this game. I thought it was going to be a close game, but I would have had Roma beating Napoli. But Napoli proved to be the better side. And it's weird because versus Milan, they played a little sluggish. And now this game, they came out all guns blazing. So still trying to figure out Napoli. I think there's a lot of teams this year where you're trying to figure out what is going to happen.
Right.
They don't know.
But I had Napoli in the top 4 at the start of the season. I did not have Roma in the top 4, which then I said, now they belong in top 4. But Gattuso, after the game against AC Milan, I figured that's the kind of character. This is when you show the character of a coach. And I figure you're not going to lose 2 games in a row. And you're playing in Napoli, and there's a lot going on with Maradona and that feeling to dedicate something to one of the greatest players ever lived. I mean, to me, Maradona and Pelé, they are the 2 greatest players. And I thought that Napoli was going to come and show that they can beat Roma.
There are 3 teams that I do not know what to say about. And as I was just looking at this, I realized this weekend completely confused me. Obviously, Napoli, this was very confusing. But I kind of felt like Napoli could win. It wasn't that crazy.
Yeah.
Lazio, losing 3-1 to Udinese.
Yeah, Lazio.
Atalanta losing 2-0 to Hellas Verona. And Fiorentina going for a 4th game straight without scoring a single goal. What's the take on these 3
All right,
teams?
so the other 2 they played in Champions League. I hate to listen. You go there, you play in Champions League. You play maybe, they don't have enough players From the Champion League, Inter from the Champion League and the game against Sassuolo.
Only once.
How many players did he change? I think
He didn't.
the
He
midfield
changed.
was the same.
Yeah.
He changed Sanchez, right?
Yeah, Sanchez and he just
I think
sat Lukaku
Uh,
and Hakimi.
And Hakimi, right? So 2 players. Okay, so Inter was also coming from Champions League. So when you hear the comments, oh yeah, Lazio playing, that's why they did. Atalanta played in Champions. Come on, you play. You go there, you play. You got to give a better performance. So disappointed with Lazio, disappointed with Atalanta. As far as Fiorentina is concerned, I mean, mamma mia, these guys, they just didn't show up. Where's the character of these players? I mean, you have a new coach. You have a team that should be in the top 6, 7, 8 at least. Or you're back in 15th place. You just changed the coach. You should have come out and run 100 miles an hour and be so aggressive. And they come out like, okay, if we win, we win. If we don't win, we don't win. And to me, when I look at Prandelli on the sideline, it shows me, when I see the coach on the sideline, I determine, the team, what kind of team. Prandelli's on the sideline and you feel like, okay, if we win, we win. If we lose, we lose. So what? Are you kidding me? This is a good team. They got good players. They should be up there. And you're back in 15th place. You have 8 points, I think, in 9 games. What do they have?
Yes.
8 points?
But what's a problem then, Gaetano?
What's a
What
problem?
do you think the problem
It's a
is?
mental problem. They got no character. I mean, there's no leadership. The coach is just freaking, I will freaking go in the locker room and smash the, whatever. You got to win the
And in the
game.
street.
Are you kidding me? You got to win these games.
No,
What's,
you're right.
what's interesting?
And, Ribéry, okay, he's got a lot of experience. He's got a lot, but he didn't show up today. He's supposed to be the leader. But what about the rest? What about the rest of the players?
But that was a good point. Like, I'm surprised that Ibrahimovic, for example, can have such an effect on Milan. Well, that's what everyone's claiming. And Ribéry doesn't have. I'm not saying that Fiorentina's got to get within the top 4, but you would think that he would be able to get
Guide
these
them.
guys to not get caught up in these traps or get caught up with a bad win streak. And even last year, I mean, Fiorentina is a very streaky team. They won 3 games in a row, and then they'll lose 4 games in a row, and then they'll win a couple of games, and then they'll lose again 3 games. So this is a problem, like you said, it's a mental problem, but it's also a problem of this team being built, right? There's a lot of good names, but do they work together? Or even the project. That's what I was saying. The project, when you have a Iachini, for example, and going back to the point, and it was a difficult year, to say the least, no preseason, whatnot. But you get this guy, and if this guy Iachini is not part of your project, long-term project, then you should have said, you know what, June comes, thank you very much, and you get somebody that you say, this is going to be my coach for the next 3-4 years. That's my project. And we don't see that right now with Fiorentina. Even Prandelli right now is till the end of the year.
Yeah, I agree with that. And Prandelli, what he should work is a mental. And, forget about the other stuff. These guys, they need to be talked to in a way where they can show some character, and they don't.
I want to move on. We have a lot of donations that I got to read, and then I want to get Ryan's thoughts on Serie A. Any topic that you're thinking of that you feel that you want to talk about for Serie A, give your perspective, because you have a very different perspective than we do from the outside.
Completely.
Before we do that, before I read the comments, on our Patreon, which we launched our Patreon last week, we have a tier where people are giving us extra support, and we read their names out on the podcast. So I want to read out all the names that are at our top tier on Patreon. For anyone that doesn't know, we have a Patreon now with new exclusive content. There's an Antonio Rants, Antonio Uncensored video, which Antonio just goes off, basically screaming and putting his head out and doesn't get interrupted for 10 minutes. We've got a weekly podcast with Ludovico and our weekly prediction video. So anyone who wants to sign up for our Patreon, we really appreciate that. The members of that top tier: Marty Mercedi, Stefano Simone, Kevin Garcia, Talal Al Said, Joseph Braedo, Tony Skusk, Nicholas Cardone, Omar Al-Hamad, Benedict Muller, Ahmed Al-Mansouri, Omar Salam, and Mayanak Saini. Guys, how are those pronunciations?
Those are pretty spot
That
on.
was-
Marco. I
that's
gotta
a
give it
worldly.
to you.
We got a
That was
around
good.
the world segment over here. So let me read off some of the donations right now. From Philip Christensen, content idea, cultural quiz. Question for the podcast. Name the player that scored a goal against Juventus without a shoe on. Love your podcast, Forza Calcio.
Without the shoe on. Gaetano, I'm gonna have to put
What
this,
year we're talking about? Around what year?
He's not going to tell us that. You don't remember.
I'll give it a random guess for Juventus.
Yeah.
Scored against
no,
Juventus.
No, against,
Scored
against
Juventus?
Juventus.
Was it Insigne? Was it Insigne?
That doesn't come to me right now.
Yeah.
I'll say Ibrahimovic.
I'm going to search.
Well, let's see.
I don't remember. Maybe I remember something with Sampdoria for some reason, but that there was a player maybe on the Mancini Vialli era, if we're close.
Okay, I don't know. Philip, you're going to have to give us the answer. I said Insigne. I don't know why I said Insigne. Next donation from Vinny Merck. He said, question for Gaetano, tactical question for the tactical genius. What does a team need to do to beat park the bus defense? So when a team is just parking the bus and they're just trying to defend, what do you need to do?
You built a wall of 4 defenders, then you built another wall of 4 defenders in front in the midfield, and then the 2 people up on top, they come and stay in your own half. So you have
No,
No,
the
he's saying,
reverse. How do you
How do you
break that?
attack? Yeah, how do you attack a parking the bus defending?
Oh, if somebody is
it's
with
parking the bus.
that they all back in
Yeah,
defense.
how could you score on that? What's the best way?
Well, it's not easy. And usually a lot of the teams, even the great teams, they all have a difficulties. If you remember, I remember a game Barcelona against Inter where Inter packed the bus in the back and the other team had a couple of players, which one of them is Messi and the other one is Ibrahimovic, and they could not score any goals against Inter. They say that you should shoot from outside. So if you cannot get close to the goal, then shoot from the outside. And maybe by shooting from outside, you tend to have the players that are in defense to come out a little bit because they don't want you to shoot. So they tend to come out of the defense and then you can create. Also, you need to go wide, go as wide as you can so that they are defenders. They have to go wide to mark. If they don't come wide to mark you, then you're all by yourself. If they come wide to mark you, then you create some space between the fullbacks and the center back. You create some space there where the midfielders can go in.
No, okay. Yeah, nicely said.
Next one from Matt. He said, if not the Scudetto, can Milan win Coppa Italia or Europa League?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, 100%.
Definitely.
Yeah. That's easier to win because there's less games. It's not as much of a marathon. But yeah, I could definitely see any of the top teams winning one of those.
By the way, this was a very hard. The player that scored against Juventus was El Jair, Elkjeer. Hellas Verona against Juventus.
1985. What year? I don't know.
62 years ago. If that's what he's talking about, that's what came up on Google.
Nobody was born. Hello.
Marco said Insigne. He was closer.
Yeah, it was very close. Yeah. Oh, Larson. It says Larson. Yeah, that's a very 1984. Sorry, October 14th,
when they won the
1984.
Scudetto.
Larson. Yeah, I remember Larson.
Long time ago.
Yeah, very long time ago. That's a hard one. Martin, last donation. Thank you, Martin. He said, Milan are great this year, but I want Napoli to win the Serie A for Maradona. So no question, but of course,
statement.
if they could do that, it would probably be incredible. Ryan, what's on your mind? I know you already had some beef with Peter about Conte. I don't know where you want to take this. What's on your mind about Serie A from an outsider's perspective?
Serie A has been growing. It's been growing pretty tremendously over the last couple of years, especially now that Ronaldo's in the league. He took a lot of attention away from the La Liga. I know there's been a lot of arguments to that, but as far as Serie A, I feel like, when I talk to Peter about Inter, right, I get a lot of abuse about my coach, who's only making €2.5 million a year, and
Say who your
he's
coach is?
accomplished. Ole, right?
Manchester
Solskjaer.
United.
He's gotten a lot of abuse, but he's accomplished what we needed. He's qualified for the Champions League. He's building a young team. Going back to Conte, when you have a guy making 12 million euro a year, you're asking for so much. He's like a little baby. He wants something, he cries for it, he gets it, but then he can't back it up. There's an excuse to every little reason that they lose.
There must be something in that seat. I don't know. It's the same school of thought.
I mean, you could tell me if I'm wrong, but at the end of the day, I just, watching that and seeing that, I'm sitting there and I'm saying to myself, how am I getting so much abuse from my club when I look at Inter and then, yeah, it's true. But as far as the Serie A right now, I'm a little surprised by Juventus. Coming off 9 straight Scudetto wins. In a way, I'm not, because Pirlo is his first year. But going back to what you were saying too about Benevento, I didn't even get a chance to say. I don't buy any of the BS that comes along with that. You're going up against Benevento with the squad that you had. As Gaetano said, you should have had Ronaldo at least on the bench. There's no excuses for that. I personally thought Juve would have been contending for this title this season if you asked me from the start. It's not looking good for them. Milan, do I think they're going to hold it down for the end of the year? Absolutely not. I see Milan slacking. It's a matter of time.
So who's going to win?
It's up in the air. If you asked me that in the beginning of the year, I would have said Atalanta had a good chance. Right now, they're not looking too well. They're not looking well at all. Roma, they were on a hot streak. They just got beaten pretty bad by Napoli today. Could have been just a bad game for them. Maybe they'll pick it up next week again. But Serie A is very unpredictable right now for me, in my opinion. You can't figure out who's going to win the league. It's too tight.
But if you also look at La Liga, I think, Real Madrid was, until a week ago, I think Barcelona was number 10 in the standings.
I'm not sure. I haven't been following La Liga. La Liga
until a couple of weeks ago, I think Real Madrid was not on the top and Barcelona was at the top. But going back to your Premier League, I mean, Tottenham is in first place. Everton was in first place,
as well. Yes.
Right, for the beginning of the season. I'm going to ask you a question about your coach, Ole. What place is Manchester United right now?
Right now, we're 7th.
7th place. Okay, you're not happy about 7th place.
Not
We're
at all.
talking about Manchester United, who's the richest club in the world,
Totally agree.
and who's always one of the top teams.
Right.
And to me, Sir Ferguson was the best coach ever.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you. Because
Like
we
you
had
said,
this
it's
talk.
like a press
We had
conference
this-
or something.
Hold on. We had this argument
But my-
prior to you coming in.
My
Antonio.
question to you is,
Right.
Allegri does not have a team. Would you take Allegri
Absolutely
in
not.
Manchester United?
Absolutely not. I'm very happy with what Ole's doing. Every
You're in
manager-
7th place.
Let me explain. Every manager that we've had has came in and done nothing for the past 8 years since Fergie's retired. You've had Van Gaal come in. He won an FA Cup. All right, good job. Mourinho came in. He won a Europa. Good job. They haven't, they failed to qualify for the Champions League. They failed to compete to get in there. To me, it's all bullshit. We had Ole last year. He's only been in the club for a year and a half. He signed Bruno last year in January when we were, 13th place? Something like that last January. We ended up finishing 3rd place last season. We qualified. We're rebuilding all the young talent that he's rebuilding around. You got Rashford. You got, and homegrown players, not to mention. Brandon Williams. All these kids coming up playing phenomenal football. But for me, I love what I'm seeing from Ole. Am I happy about 7th place right now? No. But you know what? I'll tell you what. We have a game in hand. We win that. We're only 2 points behind first place Tottenham. Put it that way. So for me, I'm pretty happy with the way things are going.
Allegri will take you to the promised land.
Not to mention, we're first place in that group ahead of PSG and Red Bull Salzburg, who were finalists and semifinalists last year. So I'm pretty content with what I'm seeing right now.
All right, fair enough. You backed it up well.
Wow.
I do still agree with you, but you had good facts on your side. By the way, this weekend, for those that were asking, Antonio was on the show. The first 30 minutes, Antonio's on, so you could scroll back and listen to that. He had to leave. So we've got super sub Ryan in, a super sub like Cavani, who came in and did an incredible
Antonio
job.
was cramping. He was cramping.
Yeah, he pulled a muscle.
Foods.
A muscle in his neck from screaming at Conte. This week in Roma's training ground, the Italian army removed World War II bombs from their facility. I don't know if you guys saw these images. Did you see this?
No, but I heard about it.
This was the image. They found World War II
That's
bombs
crazy.
in Roma's training center. Absolutely ridiculous that this still happens. I know they say in Rome sometimes, like all over,
Artifacts.
sometimes you just see like construction up and you don't know what's happening, and they're like finding random things from ancient Rome.
This is
But
very
I've never
scary.
heard World War II.
Yeah, World War. That's scary because it's not like an artifact or anything like that. This could good thing everyone was safe and they removed.
Not
everything
something we
good,
see every
so-
day.
No, not for sure.
The magical city of Rome.
Never disappoints to impress, right?
Last thing, Eriksen is most likely leaving in January. I think that even Marotta's words have held significance in terms of what's going to happen for his future.
Who's leaving?
Eriksen,
Okay.
Eriksen?
Yeah, January.
most likely going to leave. Is there any club in Serie A? They're talking about Arsenal right now. Is there any club that you would give Eriksen to in Serie A or to the world? And do you think there's any still hope? You want to start, Ryan?
I would take my Man U in a heartbeat. I would take him at Man U in a heartbeat. The guy was a world-class midfielder prior to him going to Inter. And no offense, Peter, but Conte screwed him up big time. Conte screwed up his confidence. The guy came on the field. He didn't want to play. He wasn't interested in Italy. He wasn't interested in playing for Inter. He didn't care to wear that shirt. In my opinion, and still doesn't. I don't think it makes sense for him to go to another team in the Serie A. I don't think Italy is working out for him. I think he would have to come back to the Premier League. Arsenal would be a good start. Maybe even go back to Spurs. You know the system there. He's still got the same teammates that were there. Harry Kane and Son and all those guys. They're playing excellent football. It'd be a bonus to sign him back. For me,
Mourinho's not going to take him back.
For me, though, I would take him back. I would take him at Manchester United in a heartbeat. And that's just my opinion. I don't think he should stay in Italy. You know
Why did they let him go so easy, Tottenham, then?
He forced to move out. There was a lot of midfielders that came in. They signed Ndombele. They had Sissoko. Lo Celso. All these guys were coming in, and he wasn't a choice.
He was not starting.
He wasn't one of Mourinho's first choice. Players. So
No, I don't think he is. He cannot go to any Serie A team because the only other Serie A team would be Juventus and AC Milan or Roma, and he's not gonna. Those teams they're not gonna buy him, so he's gonna leave Italy for sure. Probably the best place would be to go to the Premier League again. He knows the league very well, but like Ryan said, and I agree with you, he's a world-class midfielder. I don't think that Inter and Conte liked him, so he didn't give him any confidence to do well. So it's time for him probably to move on, and he will do well.
Mhm.
If the coach believes in you, that's means a lot.
right, he
for
needs
a
that
player.
confidence boost.
Yeah.
He needs to boost in his confidence, and not
Right.
to mention Inter have way too many midfielders.
Right.
Way too many
It's
midfielders.
besides the way too many midfielders. It's just Conte's system does not ask for a call for a trequartista. And that's the only position Eriksen can really play. I don't see him being able to play back, especially under Conte, because he wants this high-intensity midfield. Eriksen, I've also seen reports, Eriksen might not be adaptable to Serie A, and blah, blah, blah. I don't believe that because he's played at a very physical, very fast Premier League. He should be able to translate that to Serie A.
Right.
His wages, his salary demands, I don't think any other Serie A team would really get him besides the top ones. And as Gaetano said, I don't think anybody's going to make an offer to give money to Inter.
Mm-hmm.
And he can only go to maybe Premier League or some teams in Germany and some teams in Spain. That's it.
Mhm.
So I just hope that Inter is able to recuperate some money and maybe,
That's the question.
Get
How
the
much do you
same
think you'll
or-
possibly get back for him?
well, I don't think Inter sells him for less than 20 million. But that might be a high, ceiling price because teams know that he's on the bench, not happy, wants out. There's no need for him to go for any more than 20. So it's a problem that Inter had already with Schneider,
Mhm.
where Inter pretty much shot themselves in the foot and said, "Oh, he's not part of our plans anymore," and his transfer value went all the way down.
Right.
And we were only able to sell him to Galatasaray for peanuts.
Mhm.
And I hope this doesn't happen with Eriksen.
Zach, thank you for the donation. He said, I could see Eriksen going to PSG or Dortmund. I think PSG might be able to work for him. I don't know how their midfield really looks, but I think he could fit in. Any last things before we conclude?
Yeah, two more things. Verona, good job by Verona, good job by Zaccagni. this kid looks very good. I've seen him do some nice things. Maybe they can keep an eye on the national team. And the other thing that it's been asked in the newspapers and on TV and on the sports shows is, should the number 10 be retired from all the teams?
Great topic to bring up.
Absolutely not. You do not retire the number 10. And I feel very strongly about that. But what I think it should be done is put the number 10 on everybody's jersey right over here. And you can write like adios, with adios, which means goodbye, with the number 10 in the middle. I don't know if you've seen it. There are a lot of pictures. If you haven't seen it, you can Google it, adios, with the number 10 for the I and the O.
I definitely agree with you. And I know a lot of people want the number 10 retired in football. Obviously, it is in Napoli. In my opinion, the way that I see things, I think kids are supposed to grow up and see and be like, I want to wear the number 10 for this team. I want to wear the number 10 for Juventus, for Real Madrid, for Brazil. You're supposed to aspire to that. And also, if we took the number 10 away at the sign of, I'm not saying Maradona wasn't the best, but I'm just saying if we took it away, who knows the next player that you could get? You would never have Messi as a number 10 if we would have gotten rid of Maradona as a 10 or Pelé as a 10.
I agree.
I think you need to aspire to get to that.
Absolutely.
I'm never a fan of taking jersey numbers. I understand, if it's a random number like 43 and, you really, then maybe. But a number like 10 needs to be a symbol for young kids.
We're not talking about any number 10. We're talking about Diego Maradona. The guy, if not the best, one of the best to ever play the game. Personally, I agree with Gaetano and Marco. You can't retire every number 10 shirt. But if you want to show some kind of gratitude, you go ahead. You want to retire the number 10 from Napoli, where he made
It already is.
impact.
It already is.
And Boca
been.
Juniors. Go ahead and do that. But you can't retire it from every club in the world.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense.
At club by club basis, it's fine. I don't agree with
You already
it.
did it in Napoli?
Yes.
Yeah, it's been. That's why Insigne doesn't wear the 10.
Oh, it's been already?
Yeah, it's been.
I didn't know that.
Peter, what do you think?
No, I agree. I think the
Michael.
number 10 is a historic jersey, and there's been Maradona is probably the best 10 to ever wear it. But you look at Totti, you look at Del Piero, you look at all these other guys. These guys. Pelé is also number 10.
Yeah.
So these are all guys that have written the history books in calcio, in soccer, and I think they deserve the same amount of justice in a sense. And therefore, you shouldn't take it away just from Maradona, because then at that point, there's not going to be any numbers when how many numbers we're gonna retire.
Yeah,
so
true.
per team is one thing. I know Inter, number 3 for Facchetti is retired. Number 4, no one wears
Zanetti.
out of respect for Zanetti.
Oh, it's not officially retired?
It's not officially retired, but nobody wears it. If you see
wish
Perisic,
Gagliardini
Nainggolan,
would
all
get
these
it.
guys don't wear it. So club by club, they have made those decisions, but the number 10 is just such a historic number in soccer that you cannot retire.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's an overkill for every single club to retire. I do like how Napoli did retire the number 10. I think that was more appropriate than all, because we all know the impact he made in Napoli. But if you could retire for every league, every team, I think that's just a little too much. Like
That's
Peter was saying,
madness.
there's significance, and like I was saying, Baggio, Totti, all these amazing players that you wouldn't be able to wear it again, based on that. But for Napoli, I'm happy that it is retired for that. I think that's very significant.
I don't like it. I really don't like it. I won't go in on it now because it's not the time, but for world football, absolutely
Yeah, world
crazy.
football's a little
for it
too
to be.
much.
What was that?
Mike, any other topics that you got?
Yeah, one last topic that I want to talk about. This happened a little while ago, actually. The coach of Sweden, Anderson, has actually said in an interview, Zlatan has opened up to a possibility to return, and he said, I thought I had to meet him right away and try to do whatever we can.
For the World Cup?
For the national team in general. As
So
30...
the World Cup is...
Yeah, so...
Euros.
So
Oh, no,
30,
they're not in the Euro.
39 years old, Zlatan, should he go to Sweden? I personally
for
think...
the European Cup too.
I personally think, I don't know, it's going to be a lot for a 39-year-old to go back and, playing club. He's not
They
a
are
kid
in the
anymore.
Euros. They are in the Euros.
They could do something.
They have to play Spain, Slovakia, and Poland. If the guy's 39 and doing it in Serie A,
I don't know.
he can't do it for
I
Sweden.
think that's too much. It's too much overkill. It's too much on his
if he's
body.
doing it
to
now,
do it.
we said it with. What about Quagliarella last year? You were pushing for him to go back to the national team.
How old's Qualia?
He was like 37.
Okay. At this age, every month
what
counts.
Ibra's way
too.
better. Quagliarella was not as good as Ibra is right now for Milan. So if you're going to make the argument for Quagliarella, and also Italy is probably, I won't say Italy's better than Sweden, but if you're going to make the argument that Quagliarella should have got called up for Italy at that time, why not Zlatan?
Because first of all, Zlatan's mostly they're probably gonna squeeze him the 90 minutes too. I feel like, and I just feel like it's not a good idea for his age. He was older than Fabio. I get what you're saying. Yeah, he was on form, but I just
He's not
feel
in
like
better shape than Quagliarella. Zlatan's not in better shape than Quagliarella.
probably better shape. Yeah, but I still feel like it's too much. He's too old for
I
that.
kind of understand where Mike's coming from. In my opinion, does the guy deserve the call up? Absolutely,
for sure.
The guy's playing amazing football. 39 years old. But, the risk of him getting hurt between club football, Champions Cup, Europa, everything in the mix, I think he might be overdoing himself at 39 years old. He can't get a little too ahead of himself. You know what I mean?
But if he gets hurt, then at least he goes out trying.
But the guy has to be cautious. Yeah, but if he
know
goes down
about that.
trying, then
that's not-
Milan's hopes of a Scudetto might go
But
downhill
we're
as
taking
well.
this from Sweden's
Well,
perspective.
But the European Cup is in June.
Yeah.
When the Serie A is over,
Yeah.
and the European Cup is over, and the European League is over, so he would only have to concentrate in the
Unless he gets injured.
But
That's
his
a different
presence
story.
alone-
Gaetano, that's a
In the
different story.
European-
Then by all means, he should go
Right.
ahead and travel.
What if he gets
to-
injured?
They only
then?
have one more international break in March,
Yeah.
April, May.
Yeah.
They only have one, so he'll go
Yeah.
for one, and then he'll go for
Yeah,
the
but
Euros if he has to.
they don't need him for friendly games
No,
and
they
things
don't.
like
If he
that.
wants to, they
He
don't
doesn't
want
need
to.
him for that.
Competitive competition.
You go for the European 1
Yeah,
month.
Exactly.
The season is over. There's nothing going on. You go there for 1 month. I would take him.
Guys, come on. Even
Oh,
for
no.
the mentality
I'm not saying
alone.
as a coach I would take him, but I'm
are
saying
you
as
not-
Milan.
If you have this Zlatan that's playing unbelievable right now, and he continues this form, he's top goal scorer in the league. Are you crazy that you're not going to take him?
If I was Milan, I'd ban him. I'd lock him up.
That's
Make sure he
not-
doesn't go
but,
to Sweden.
but that's not real. That's not
But
true.
also, it comes down to the player. If the player wants,
Oh,
you
you
he
know
pretty
he
much
wants
it,
it.
he's gonna do
You
it.
know he wants
if the
it.
I'd lock him
Sweden
up.
be stupid not
If
to say
the
no.
national team calls you, it's up to you
He's
to
retired.
accept or not. It's
But
not
he
up
already
to AC
mentioned.
Milan. AC Milan's got nothing to
What,
say.
He
The
mentioned.
coach mentioned it
Zlatan's
already.
interested.
He said Ibrahimovic is the one that.
Yeah,
So
Zlatan's
he's saying
interested.
interest.
Ibrahimovic is
Yeah,
the
that's
one
what
I
I'm
want.
saying.
He's a little crazy. Yes,
Come on, you put Ibrahimovic and Kulusevski. It's a strong team.
I
Some
think
Swedish
it's too
fish.
Much. They're trying too much. They're
That
trying a
is-
little too much.
Guys, thank you for everybody who has been watching live, who stuck with us through this entire thing. Do you have something else you wanted to say?
No.
You're showing an image over here.
Yeah, but I don't know if you, it's okay.
You visited the Maradona Memorial.
Yeah.
I know we all did. Peter, not yet.
You posted some pictures.
We
I'm
posted
gonna
the
go
one
with
of you.
Ludo.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we gotta go with Ludo.
I
We
still
gotta
have to
take
go
him.
see it. I haven't seen it
All right,
yet.
you can
Yeah,
drive
yeah.
this, right?
Five
10
10 minutes. 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It's right underneath the Manhattan
Under the
Bridge.
bridge.
Oh, is that where it is?
Yeah.
No, what I was showing is this, which is
We could pop it in.
adios.
Yeah,
You
very
know,
nice.
with the number 10. I think that's class. You know, you're gonna have it over here on every shirt.
On the sleeve.
And the team, the black, the
All blacks. Yep.
all
The
blacks.
rugby
Zealand.
team.
The rugby
Yeah, I saw.
team, which is like the best team ever for
New
rugby.
Zealand?
Huh?
New Zealand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had the shirt number 10 for Maradona.
I saw that.
Wow.
I think we should make a shirt with a 10 and adios.
I
maybe.
absolutely agree.
Maybe something like that.
No, it should be adios, number 10 in the back and calcio in the front.
Yeah, maybe we'll do something
That'd
like
be
that
cool.
With the Napoli colors.
with the Napoli colors.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
With the Napoli and Boca colors, or with the Napoli,
Now we're getting
Boca, and Argentina colors.
There you go. Guys, thank you for everybody that's watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Head on over to Italian Football TV to get your merch. Patreon is linked also in the bio if you want to join up for that content. As always, thank you for watching. We'll talk to you soon. Ciao,
Ciao,
ragazzi.
guys. Forza Brescia.
Who is that guy?
Huh?